Hello, my Solid Rock community, and hello, all YouTubers. I am going live today, bringing you the reading from Mark chapter 14 in reference to Judas Iscariot. So bring your Bibles and let's go into discussion. Leave all your comments and your questions below. So in Mark chapter 14, it says, after 2 days was the feast of Passover and of unleavened bread. And the chief priests and the scribes sought how they might take him by craft and put him to death. Mark is talking about Jesus when they was plotting to put him to death. So we're going to talk about how they got into it and how it all took place. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Get your Bible and just turn to Mark chapter 14. And we're going to get through this little by little. So we know that this was 2 days. After 2 days was the feast of Passover, it says, and of unleavened bread. And the chief priests and the scribes thought how they might take him by craft and put him to death. But they said, not on the feast day. They didn't want to do it on Passover. So they said, at least there be an uproar of people, because at this time, when they was plotting all of this against Jesus, he was preaching and ministering, and he had huge crowds. So they knew that if they had taken him during this time of this event with Passover, that it would be an uproar and the people would be very upset. So they didn't want that to happen. So in order to keep that from happening, they said, we'll wait until it's over with, so it won't be so many people. They wanted to do it sneakingly. And being in Bethany in the house of Simeon the leper, as he sat at the meat, there came a woman having an alabaster box of an ointment of spikenard, very precious. And she brake the box and poured it on his head. And there were some that had indignation within themselves and said, why this waste of ointment? They didn't think Jesus was good enough to have the ointment poured on him. So they questioned her for pouring the ointment on Jesus' head. For it might be sold for more than 300 pence and have been given to the poor. And they murmured against her. And Jesus said, let her alone. Why trouble ye her? She hath wrought a good work on me. For ye have the poor with you always, and whosoever ye will, may ye do them good. But ye may not have, he's telling them, you may not have me always, but you will have her. You will have the poor with you. And this is another part. She has done what she could. She is come aforehand to anoint my body to the burying. So Jesus already knew that they was plotting on him. So he's telling them she's doing this because of what's getting ready to take place. And people still, they was there with him watching all of this, and there were people still coming up against Jesus. So just imagine you yourself and what people will do for you. Verily I say unto you, whosoever this gospel shall be preached, whosoever gospel shall be preached throughout the whole world, this also she had done shall be spoken of for a memorial of her. And Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went into the chief of priests to betray him unto them. And when they heard it, they were glad. They was glad. They was looking for someone to do the betrayal of Jesus. And when Judas, they didn't even ask Judas. He just decided that I'll do it. I'll do it. You know, he went to them, telling them that he'll do it. And so when he went to them, they was happy, because now, like, we got somebody that will do what we need done. And so Judas was one of the 12 disciples. So they had to get in the circle. And they couldn't get in the circle unless, they couldn't just go to them and say, hey, will you do it for us? They didn't have to do that. He had already volunteered. And then they got excited when he volunteered and even said, we'll give you money to do it. We'll give you the money to do it. And he saw how he might conveniently betray him. So it say, and the first day of unleavened bread, when they killed the Passover, his disciples said unto him, where wilt thou that we go and prepare that thou mayest eat the Passover? And when he sent forth two of his disciples and said unto them, go ye to the city, there shall you meet a man bearing a pitcher of water, follow him. And whosoever shall go in, say to the good man of the house, the master said, where is thy guest chamber? Where shall I eat the Passover and with my disciples? So Jesus already knew ahead of time what was taking place. So he was just going along with it. He already knew what Judas was going to do. And he said, I should eat Passover with my disciples, and he will show you a large upper room furnished and prepared. There make ready for us. And if you go into this is Mark 14, but if you also go into the book of Psalms, this confirmed that Jesus knew what Judas was going to do even more. Go to Psalms chapter 41. I want you to go to Psalms 41, verse number 9. Ye, my own familiar friend in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, hath lifted up his heel against me. But thou, O Lord, be merciful unto me, and raise me up that I may requite them. By this I know thou favorest me, because my enemy does not triumph over me. Now, when Judas had betrayed Jesus, and he gave them, I'm going to just paraphrase the rest so we won't have to go too long on this, but when Judas had betrayed Jesus, and when he went and gave them, they after he betrayed Jesus, he didn't do it like I said during Passover. They wanted to wait the after because they knew it was going to be an uproar of a crowd and stuff. So they wanted to do it quietly. So they had him to betray him and do it after everything was over with. You know, they had to find somebody close to him that could point him out in the nighttime, because they didn't want to do it in the daytime. They wanted to do it at night. And so they even gave Judas the money, the 30 shekels. And that was the same price that it was to buy a slave back then. So they gave that to Judas to betray Jesus. So, you know, and to put it in today's time is where I'm getting with this. Betrayal is very deep. Betrayal is, and when people betray you, it's always going to be somebody in your circle. It's never going to be somebody outside your circle. It's got to be somebody close to you when somebody wants to do the betrayal. And it's so funny how Judas was sitting right there with Jesus at the table. And you know, Jesus even told them, said, one of you are going to betray me. And the other disciples didn't know it, but Judas knew exactly what he was talking about. And so therefore, when Judas was like a hypocrite, he's sitting there, he knows what he done took, he knows what he's been offered, he knows that he's been compromised, but he still sits there, even to the point of kissing Jesus. Don't you know sometimes people are sitting in your circle and they will actually kiss you, hug you, tell you they love you, but the whole time they're there to betray you, to do what they want to do to you, the evil part that's in their heart, that malice. You know, a lot of people get jealous of your assignment. And the reason why what Judas was looking at that time was Jesus had all these people in the crowd, because Judas was a banker. And so his whole thought process in his head was Judas wanted power. He wanted money and power is what he wanted. So he was willing to sell Jesus out for the money and the power. Never mind that he was with the blesser. Never mind that Jesus could give him all the things that he was selling him out for. He just was willing to sell him out for the money and the power. So you have people like that today that they sit around, they'll watch you, they'll watch your gifts, they'll watch what your blessings, and instead of them understanding that you can give, you can bless them, they can't take that. They want what you have. Not looking at what you done, the price that you done paid to get what you got. They don't care about none of that. They just need you not to be in the position you're in. Not understanding that that's your assignment. And so Judas didn't care about none of that. All he wanted to do was get those 30 shekels. But when he realized what he had done, and and he knew in his heart and his conscience it couldn't live with it, the guilt in his conscience. So what he did was he ended up, when they, after he betrayed Jesus and turned him over and told them where Jesus was gonna be at, the same way people do you today. They'll betray you to your enemy and tell them where you're gonna be. The plot has already been on. They didn't just start it, the plot been on. So what they'll do is, when he did that to Jesus and had already they gave him the 30 shekels after he did it. When they gave it to him, it got away with him so bad that he threw the 30 shekels on the ground because he knew what he had done, it wasn't right. So when he did this, threw those 30 shekels on the ground, that's where we get today, which is called Potter's Field. And the reason why they call it Potter's Field, because that's where you would have a whole bunch of broken pottery. But Potter's Field is also sits in every cemetery. There's a Potter's Field. That's for people that cannot afford to be buried. So they'll put them out in Potter's Field. And the meaning of Potter's Field is saying that the pottery is saying that that's the bodies that's in the cemetery, because only God can put them back together again and make them whole. So with that being said, you have to be careful who you let in your circle. You have to be careful of who you let have access to you, because a lot of people have gotten freely, and it's been so, the betrayal has come from people right in the circle of other people. And when they wonder why is the whole families getting killed up or people murdering people, it's always somebody that's close to that person that does it. They done sat in the family house, they done sat around the family, they done sat around you, they done learned and studied your habits, and the whole time their heart is not right. The whole time they're there to take away what you got because they feel like they should have it, not knowing that the gift that you have or what you're carrying, they can't even walk with your cross. They can't handle that. The shoes you walking in, they can't handle that, but they think they can because they're on the outside looking in, not realizing that, you know what, this what God gave for you is for you. It's not for them. But people will sell you out for nothing. Some people don't even have to have anything. They just want to so bad not to see a person prosper or not to see somebody make it. So what they'll do is they'll do whatever. They'll go to the enemy and beg the enemy to let them, turn them over to them, or I tell you where they at. I'll show you how to get to them. And so that's why you have to be careful. Sometimes it's better to walk alone than to walk with a whole crowd of people, because at least you know that you can't betray yourself. If you got a problem, go to God and talk to him about it, because you don't never know who in that circle. And it could be family, it could be close friends, but they're sitting in that circle and the betrayal will surely come. So I didn't want to be real long tonight, but I did want to do a live to let you guys, to go over that with you about Judas Iscariot. And the thing about Judas Iscariot, even after all that, and he even gave threw the 30 shekels on the ground. Well, you got to remember, those was the Canaanites, and the Canaanites did not like that. So when he threw those 30 shekels on the ground, a lot of people say that he was that they always say Judas Iscariot betrayed Jesus, but Judas Iscariot also asked for forgiveness. That's what people don't realize either, that he did ask for forgiveness. He repented for what he had done. And not only did he repent for what he had done, Judas Iscariot also people say he hung himself. He didn't hang himself or commit suicide. The Canaanites actually helped Judas Iscariot. And when they say that they helped Judas Iscariot, what they did with Judas Iscariot was they actually hung him and threw him over. That's why it says his guts, the bowels is the stomach part, so it bust open. And the reason it bust open because they pushed him over. And when they pushed him over, of course his bowels burst on the ground. It was from his Adam's apple down to his navel. So that wouldn't be hanging yourself. A person that hang themselves, bowels don't just burst open like that. So they actually pushed him over and his bowels burst open. That's how he got burst open that way he did. But that was because they didn't want, Judas Iscariot to be walking around saying that he might have said, I might have betrayed Jesus, but you guys actually murdered him. So that would have been the thing, and they didn't want that to happen. Him to go around and be saying what actually happened. So that's why they had to get rid of Judas Iscariot. So sometimes, no matter what a person do, if you think you getting over on another person by betraying them, and then what you get in the end, so you didn't gain anything. Only thing you gained was blood on your hands. The only thing you gained by betraying that person is you didn't get anything out of the situation. But so a lot of times people don't realize betraying that person could be the same. When you betray a person, that could be the same reason why you will end up missing your blessing. Cause see, that person could have been the one God put in your life to bless you, but now you done betrayed that person. So now you done killed your own blessing by trying to having malice in your heart or having the wrong type of heart. So with that being said, now your blessing gone. And people don't think about that. That's something that a lot of people need to think about. It's like, is it really worth it? Is it really worth you betraying somebody and this person might be in your life to bless you? So you done killed your whole blessing. You done killed everything God put in place for you. You can't get it now because you done betrayed somebody close to you. People have to think about the things they do. Everything ain't worth it. Everything is not worth it. Sitting around people plotting and thinking that God's not going to reveal it to them. He will. He will. God will reveal all that to people, and it's going to come out. That's why I always say whatever is done in the dark, it's going to eventually come to the light. You don't get away with nothing. Not one single thing. So to sit around and betray anybody for just simple things, it's not worth it. And it's a whole lot of betrayal going on in the world today. A whole lot. People have crossed out families. I mean, mothers, daughters, sisters, brothers. For what? For materialistic stuff that the Bible says is gonna rust and cank away anyway. So what are you betraying a person for? What do you have to gain? And most of the time when people betray people, what did they get from it? Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's nothing that they gain from betraying the person. So, let that be on your mind. That's just a short study I wanted to do with you guys discussing Judas Iscariot. And we'll move on to the next chapter. So this was coming from Mark chapter 14. That's a little breakdown. If anybody got any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure we're supporting other content creators. Please watch their long form video because that is how they get their watch hours. So please be looking out for others. And I want to say thank you guys for coming tonight. I just want to do a quick study on Judas Iscariot because so many people had so many questions about it, and so many people thought that he had actually committed suicide when he didn't, and people didn't realize that Judas Iscariot actually repented and he made himself whole with God. So with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you back here maybe tomorrow with another study. Y'all have a good night. I didn't want it to be too long.